It's easy to think, oh, I know New England, I go to school in New England. I don't need to do an off-campus program that's also in New England because I already know everything that there is to know. And the reality is that New England is a very complex place with a lot of different histories that intersect in different ways in different places. And going out and visiting them is a really enriching experience.
The New England Domestic Studies Program, or DSP, is an environmental studies field program focused on community-based natural resource management in Maine and New Hampshire. We're spending a week at the Hubbard Brook Experimental Forest, which is in the White Mountains, a little over an hour north of Dartmouth. We're here at Hubbard Brook to do a deep dive into ecosystem science, learn field methods, and especially focus on learning about how to measure forest carbon.
So the first few days here we visited with scientists who have been doing research here for any number of years, from the last 2 or 3 years to decades. And we learned about the different soil types that are here. We learned about different plants that are here. We've learned about the different studies that they've done on the water and the air, and how different forest management practices impact the forest.
This portion of the DSP has been more physical science and data collection focused. It really helps to take the social science and kind of broader science aspect that we've been exploring previously and applying it to how we can use the data we're collecting to help larger conservation efforts and look at things in the context of helping communities and helping sustainable development by collecting knowledge capital, which is the basis of how we create change.
Being out in the field with so many different kinds of scientists has really opened my eyes to all of the different worlds that we interact with and the different ways that we can learn about them through the scientific method, through inquiry and testing. Measuring trees and soil horizons really reinforced my knowledge of forest carbon storage. That's how we establish carbon credits and those types of systems, and to a greater degree, for me, I'm really excited to leave Hubbard Brook and go and teach what I learned here.
I've always felt really humbled by the mountains and the forest. Being surrounded by things that are just so much bigger than you and so much older than you is something that just kind of takes the anthropocentric lens off and allows you to kind of step back and say wow, we're really not the center of the world. Everything here is much more significant than some of the small things we deal with on the day-to-day. Coming out of the context of Dartmouth, which can feel so hyper-focused on yourself or on your community and things like that, stepping away from that to a more natural environment can bring a lot of clarity.